If you are one of the 10% of taxpayers that are still filing their tax returns on paper, that's okay. But there are some things that you have to be aware of, that some of the taxpayers that are actually filing electronically, which is always the best and easiest way to file, but if you still choose to paper file, you should be aware of there are 4 different mistakes that you can be making by filing on paper. There are simple things that you can definitely prevent doing. However, these can lead to serious consequences such as delaying processing of your return, penalties, and interest from the IRS. And we will go over them quickly in this video. The first one is mailing your tax return to the wrong address. I know, you can't believe that's possible, but it is possible. It's like spelling incorrectly your name or putting the wrong social security number. And when you looked actually at the instruction for 1040, you may realize that it's actually not that hard to make a mistake. So you want to make sure you look at the 1040 instruction for the year you're filing, because the address can change. So don't copy over the address from prior year or a couple of years ago, because that may have been already updated and it's no longer current. So first you have to find out your location. Now, if you have 2 homes, you want to use the location for your primary residence. And it can happen when taxpayers travel maybe for the winter to Florida, but they really live in Illinois, and they file their taxes during the tax season in Florida thinking that's their primary home location, but it's not, because actually their primary home is in Illinois. Once you find your primary residence location in the instructions, let's say it's North Carolina, then you have to find out which of these 2 addresses you're supposed to use. One, you send your tax returns if you have a refund or no payment due, and the other one if you have a payment due. Now, what about if you are doing 1040X, which is an amendment? The address may be also different, so you still have to go, and I will put all the links in the notes, but you have to go into this website or the instructions for 1040 amendment to find the location where you send your amendment. Now, you don't have these issues when you're filing electronically, because the tax return is being transmitted on your behalf, because it doesn't go to address, it just goes to the database for IRS. So regardless where they're located, they can access the database. The second mistake that you can be making is not attaching forms. A good rule of thumb is attaching forms that have withholdings. So W-2s, 1099-Rs, maybe W-2G. And you may ask, why even they need that? Doesn't IRS have a copy of the forms? I get a copy and the IRS gets a copy, but they require it, so just include it. Number 3, not signing and dating. I know, very simple, right? But when you look at the 1040, this is a legal document. At the very end, on the last page, we have a signature page. And this has to be not only signed, it has to be signed and dated. And if you don't have it, especially if you're filing jointly and only one of you sign, guess what will happen? The IRS will look at it. That's nice, but we need both signatures. They will send it right back to you, which delays the processing. If you're electronically filing, you can do that electronically many times. It asks you either to type your name or provide a PIN, which many times is the adjusted gross income from prior year. So you can do that. Your signature, it makes a legal document that you actually fill this out. So that's why it's very important. It's a simple thing, but it can really delay processing of your tax return. Finally, the last thing, not including enough postage. And you may think, really? Yes. During the tax season on the United States Postal Service website or FedEx, many of the delivery services have information about by when you have to post something. Like for 2023, April 18 is the federal tax return filing deadline. So you want to make sure you give yourself time to, if you want to go in person, because you want to double check how much you have to put in postages. Especially if you're filing your state return, many times you have to attach your federal return. So it's federal return, it might be very thick, then you have a state one, and then you might have to include the withholding statements. And then maybe you have additional forms you have to include. So this is really not going to be enough for one stamp. Because if you don't have enough, what will happen? Guess what? Few weeks later, you felt like, oh, my refund is going to be coming. and instead your actual tax return will be returning to you, not processed, and the US Postal Service will be asking you to provide enough postage and you have to resend it. So then it delays the processing and can result in penalties and interest. So you can see that even though some of these things are really simple, they can really cause a lot of trouble. So make sure you double check the address, make sure you attach all the forms that you need, have enough postage, and sign and date the tax returns. And finally, make sure you make a copy of the tax return, because if it's a paper, you want to have a copy of it in case it gets lost in the mail or something happens to it, or if the IRS is sending letters regarding this tax return, you want to be able to verify what they're talking about, to verify your numbers, your information, what you put on your tax return. This is something you can definitely follow, double check everything, and good luck. Thanks so much for watching.